Welcome to the 6th episode of our podcast IoT and IP Explained with myself, Claudia Tapia. I am today in Munich in an office sitting next to a wonderful lady called Marta Duque. Marta and I are going to talk about artificial intelligence, also known as AI. And yes, I know AI is a complex topic, but luckily for us, Marta is excellent at explaining this fascinating topic. She is currently finalizing her PhD on B2B data sharing for IP development at the Technical University of Munich, where she also gives regularly lectures on topics related to intellectual property rights and where she works as research associate. But before that, she worked as IPR policy researcher at Ericsson, where she conducted research on AI-related topics. Marta holds a law degree from the University of Salamanca and an LLM specializing in intellectual property from the University Carlos III in Madrid. She received there a special award as the student with the highest grades of the LLM. And because she likes to collect LLM titles, she has also an LLM in law of internet technology from the Bocconi University. And guess what? She also got the maximum grade, 110 from 110. What else can I tell you about Marta's successes? She won the Intellectual Property Prize in 2019, organized by the University Autonomy of Madrid, with her work on artificial intelligence generated works. And despite the fact that she's extremely intelligent, one of her best attributes is that she's also really modest. And a bit shy sometimes. And so right now her face is of the color of a tomato.
A bit, yeah.
Welcome, Marta.
Hi, Claudia. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you as well for your super kind introduction.
Of course. I think I could talk about your strengths. So
now I'm becoming even more red.
So today we're going to talk about AI.
Okay.
And I would suggest we start with the basic concepts. We need to understand what is artificial intelligence. And I've been doing some research, and I have found, I gotta know how many definitions I have found on AI. I have picked one from the World International Property Office, which we discussed time ago. So I'm gonna repeat it, which is AI is a discipline of computer science that is aimed at developing machines and systems that can carry out tasks considered to require human intelligence. However, I understand that you're not fully convinced with this definition.
Yeah.
So what is it missing? What is not entirely accurate?
Okay, so it was not me the one that was criticizing this definition.
That was not me.
No, I mean, it was my co-author. Yeah, because I think 3 years ago, time flies, I co-authored a paper also on AI-generated works with Christopher that at that time was a PhD candidate on artificial intelligence, I mean, from a computer science point of view. And we were talking about, okay, we need a definition, first of all. And he was saying, like, yeah, okay, let's use this one. But in technical literature, you are not going to find probably the term human intelligence, because how do you measure it? What human intelligence is? As maybe a psychologist, it's very hard to measure. They have different tests and we have different type of intelligence. So it's a very complex topic itself. And I prefer to talk about agents that act in an intelligent way. Okay. So it's a small thing, but that's what is missing in this definition.
Thinking about CIA agents.
Yeah.
All right. The AI Act that we will discuss with Ruben Cano in the next podcast episode is providing a quite long definition.
Indeed.
And I thought, because this is an important definition, we're going to see it and it's going to have an impact in our world. I think it will be helpful to divide it in parts and go part after part and doing our best to understand it.
Okay, let's try.
Okay, so it starts with AI is a machine-based system.
Yeah.
What is a machine-based system?
So different techniques to achieve AI. And one of them that is the most common one is machine learning. So it's about training a model that then can be integrated into a broader system, so a machine system that then can have different uses. I would say that this is machine-based.
Okay, so we can imagine a real equipment.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
All right. It operates with varying levels of autonomy.
Yeah. This is a complex one and maybe a philosophical one, because what is autonomy? Again, we don't have a single definition. If we say, for example, that autonomy means that the system is capable of performing different tasks in different environments without constant guidance by the user, okay, we can say that they act more or less autonomously. But if you were following the debates, the legal debates on AI-generated works and inventions, you can find that some people were stating, AI systems are capable of producing outputs without any human supervision or interaction. This is true? No.
Okay, let's stop you here, because you're bringing a lot of wordings that some people might understand, some might not. So you're talking about output.
Yeah.
What is an output?
It's basically the creation of the AI system. For example, it can be used to create new images or new songs, videos, in case that we are talking about generative AI, that are those that are on the media all the time. But it can be a prediction, a recommendation. So it's basically what we want to predict, what we want to obtain when we are using the system.
Excellent. So if I understand you correctly, we cannot talk about a system which really can work without human intervention.
Indeed, it has different levels of autonomy. And if you see how these generative AI models work, they have a lot of space to take decisions, but you have to tell them what you want, and you have to modify your question, and you have to guide it until you get the output that fits your necessity. So there's always human intervention, more or less, I would say.
I see. So we are still not in this fully autonomous level.
No, not yet.
Not science fiction come into place.
No, unfortunately not.
Or fortunately.
Yeah, we can also say that.
The third aspect states it may exhibit adaptiveness after deployment. What does this mean?
We can say that adaptiveness means that the system improves the performance by learning with experience. It can improve after this, it is designed and deployed. And the more you use Netflix, the better in theory the recommendations are. Right?
It's still not there. I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Terrible recommendations.
Yeah, sometimes I think the same, like, wow. And this was recommended to me. I was 1 hour and a half watching this film. And
do not trust them. Not yet.
No.
Okay, so let's go back. We get deviated a bit. So adaptiveness.
Yeah, so basically that it goes better when it is working, and the system more, again, maybe with Netflix it doesn't work, but with Spotify, the more music that you listen, the more data that they have, and the system can adapt to your tastes. So it gets better with experience. That's basically adaptiveness.
The more content regarding your own case, so the more you use something and select something, the likelihood increases that you will get a good recommendation for the next one.
It gets better.
Okay. The fourth aspect, for explicit or implicit objectives, infers from the input it receives how to generate outputs.
Yeah. Let's say that you want to predict whether a person has cancer or not. And you are giving the system the data of this person. Mm-hmm. So this data that you are giving to the model so that it can make a prediction is the input data.
I see. So what about these explicit or implicit objectives?
Yeah, with some techniques, let's say the model gets data more by experience, and it's not the user, the one that is giving directly the data to the AI system. So this is more referred, I would say, to reinforcement learning. That is another complicated term.
But you brought it, so.
Yeah. So there are different ways of training a model. And one of them is reinforcement learning. So it's not so much about you giving continuously data to the model so it learns, but you give the model like an objective and penalties and rewards. And the closer it is to the objectives, the more rewards that it gets. And this is all with mathematical terms. But the data are given to the model while the model is acting. It's not that the user is given more data.
Interesting. And why is this relevant?
I mean, there are different techniques. This was very successful, for example, for gaming. So for teaching machine learning models to play chess. And also in robotics. Yeah.
I see. Excellent. What about AI devices? Because I see we have them everywhere. I mean, if I look at the Internet of Things and the use of AI, we see it in all kinds of sectors, in transportation, in security, in agriculture, at home. It's kind of everywhere. So can you provide some examples?
Yes, but before that, I would like to make some clarifications. It's not the first time that probably you listen to me saying that, but AI is like a big circle. And then we have different techniques, as I was saying before, to achieve AI. We have probabilistic programming, evolutionary algorithms, and then the most common one that is machine learning. I only know about machine learning, so and these techniques can be used for achieving different AI functionalities. So, for example, computer vision, natural language processing, robotics, etc. And AI techniques and AI functional applications can be used in different fields of applications. So that's law, financial sector, entertainment, health, etc. That is what you are referring to. The first examples comes from the cultural industry. So this Stability AI, ChatGPT, Midjourney that are creating all of this copyright litigation. But my favorite one is the health sector. And there are some companies that are detecting whether a person can have some symptoms of cancer in a very early stage, so it can still be treated. And there's a company called Freenome that is capable of predicting it with the data of the blood test. Then we have a Spanish company that is working in the prediction of cardiac diseases. My favorite example, if you still don't know who Jesus Martin Fernandez is, I recommend you to Google his name right now because he's Jesus Martin Fernandez.
Okay.
He's amazing, and he is a neurosurgeon, a music composer that comes also from La Palma, like me.
Oh.
And he's working in on the field of awake surgery. So he's removing tumors from the brain while people are awake to preserve the emotions.
Wow.
He's amazing, really. And he developed a new AI test. So the patients are interacting with digital avatars and also with this system. It can test how the patients are reacting.
Wow.
And he's only 30 years old. So
now I feel like a real loser.
We all do, but yeah, he's a very interesting person, and his work is very, very surprising, amazing, and yeah, all my admiration for Jesus.
Excellent. Wow. So he seems really very interesting person to talk. Wow. One of the examples you mentioned is the personal assistants. So Alexa or Google Home. And they use AI to understand and interpret what the user says. And this means understanding the words and the intention behind. Yes, because not everybody communicates as clearly as you do, Marta. And what I find fascinating is that these personal assistants use AI to learn from user interactions, which is a bit what you were mentioning before, this adaptability. And this is how they manage to adapt their responses and suggestions based on the preferences of the users and their habits. And my understanding is that what they aim to achieve, and hopefully with the AI development will be able to do, if they are not doing right now, is that they anticipate the user needs and make suggestions or even perform actions without the user explicit asking for it. So this is one of the issues that we are going to see. We see also the use of AI in smart thermostats. We see the use of AI, for example, in fitness trackers, so that you receive these personalized health recommendation based on AI algorithms. Or the smart health monitors, as you were mentioning. It's important to monitor also, blood pressure or blood sugar levels. What else? Smart grid technology, smart seating applications, the self-driving cars that we have mentioned in several episodes, and the AI-enabled cable and cameras, so in terms to get more security. And these cameras can recognize faces and detect unusual activities and send alerts. And when I'm hearing all this, I'm thinking about all discussion we're having in Germany and other countries in terms of protecting us, but at the same time giving the possibility to provide more security. So considering all this and the many, many other examples that we can mention on AI, are you feeling excited, scared, or perhaps a mixture of both with the power of AI?
Well, in general, I'm feeling excited, but we need to use it as a tool. So it's great that cancer or heart diseases can be predicted and treated. Or maybe that we can have an individualized diagnosis. Also for rare diseases, or I know the culturing industry. I mean, I couldn't be able to learn German and write some text without these amazing correctors and translators. But we have to put limits. It's not only bad that companies have all the data about us, but also if this information goes to the government, or if they are doing profiles for everything, only someone doesn't get a job because of this kind of profiles, so that's very dangerous. So that's something that was discussed in the AI Act. That's maybe for Ruben. I don't know if it's the best approach. I will have to study it, but indeed it's an issue that needs to be regulated.
Yes, of course, they are always risks with all these new technologies, opportunities, and risk, and understanding where the market needs to be open and when regulated, and which are the interests that need to be protected. It's extremely important.
It's not on the technology per se what is bad. It's the use that we can make about this technology. So again, the human nature.
It's on us. It's on us.
Yeah.
All right. Let's play a game.
Okay.
Well, you're saying yes without knowing what it is, so
I will read.
All right. So it's called "What is AI and What is Not?"
Oh, sounds promising.
I'm going to give you some examples, and you tell me whether you think it is AI and it's not. And I think you're probably getting it right. So probably you also need to give some explanation why.
Okay, I will do my best.
So, is a GPS navigation system for finding the fastest route AI?
Yes and no.
That's a lawyer answer.
It depends. It depends. Yeah, I mean, this system probably, or this application, will have to evaluate your coordinates and see where you are. And this processing this data is not an AI task, but finding the best route or the fastest route is done by AI.
Okay, you convinced me. A yes and no answer.
Yeah.
What about, we talked before about Spotify. So what about a music recommendation system, such as Spotify, that suggests music based on the user's listening behavior?
Yes.
That is AI.
Yeah, that's AI.
What about photo editing features? I think we see that a lot in social media, such as brightness and contrast in applications, Photoshop.
Yeah, Photoshop, Instagram, they offer all these kind of features. This is not the AI, but for example, if you go to Instagram, you can say that pushing a button at, I don't remember now where it is, to be honest.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Don't need any Photoshop.
No, and I'm trying not to use that much Instagram, but there's a button that when you press it, it allows you to have like an automatic edition of the pictures. So it's like a tune of the picture done by the system, and this is AI. So if you just adjust it by yourself, it's not AI, but if you allow the app to do it by itself, they will probably use those kind of algorithms.
Wow. I was last time reading about, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it in another episode because I'm still traumatized about this, but I was reading about surgeons that were complaining of about young ladies, very young ones, coming with AI improved pictures of themselves. So they wanted to have kind of this improved version and get its synergy from that. So,
wow. Yeah, but we have to be careful, and not just in terms of regulation, but also in terms of psychological effects. That's more for education, but we should be aware also that these systems can harm our autoesteem. Evaluate until which point we want to use them or not. And that's actually why I'm trying to be very careful when using them, because in Instagram, it's not AI, but it's super interesting to see the best life of everyone, right? And then you will, but no one is putting in Instagram, yeah, I had a terrible day at work, right? So the same with AI. And probably the picture that we are offered is not the best version of ourselves. It sounds like a cliche, but the inside of a person is what really matters.
It really does. And I think this is one of the reasons why I always ask about lessons learned. I think we truly need to talk more about mistakes, but mistakes not understood as a failure, but as a part of the process of growing and learning and always thinking, what am I going to do differently next time?
Yeah, for sure.
We are arriving to the end. And I, as always, ask at the end of the interview, lessons learned.
Yeah.
Can you give us maybe one story, something you would like to share with us?
I basically learned a lot working with you. I think it's very important. First, when you have a conflict, to address it. I mean, it's not always easy, right? But if you don't solve it, if you don't talk about it, the problem is gonna be bigger. It depends on who you are having the conflict with, right? But I have seen problems with colleagues or also with friends getting bigger because I was not capable of saying my opinion or what was hurting me and putting the interest of other people above mine. And that's one lesson learned, to talk when you have a problem. The other one is to learn how to receive feedback. It's not, there are different kinds of feedback. When I see that someone is giving me a feedback with the intention of harming me, that's something that I'm learning to ignore. But there are situations in which you think, this is a bad feedback, this was with bad intention. No, it's totally to help you. And the person is having the courage, tell you things that you can improve, and you should really listen to this person and grow, accept them, and see what you can do to change.
Oh, very, very nice advice. I think, and we train it a lot in the internship program, how to give feedback. And because it's so easy to use the wrong words.
Indeed.
And I think the more you care about someone, the more sensitive you become when that person is not giving a positive feedback. So if they choose the wrong word, and for whatever reason you are not secure about yourself at that moment, then you may misinterpret it.
That's important. But again, not all people are open to receive this feedback. I was one of them at the beginning. I thought no, but I was. And you cannot imagine how grateful I am that I have paid attention to some things that, for example, you told me.
Well, I'm glad. That's helpful. I have to say I receive feedback too. And this helps me to improve every year with the program, and it's great to see people evolving, and I'm very, very proud of where you are and where you will become. So I look forward to read your thesis, and I'm quite sure I'm not the only one after listening to this presentation discussion. I'm sure that more people will be looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
We will continue this discussion.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye.